wealthy man points at the servant's nose, orders him to park the car. The servant, furious, drives 10 kilometers away. Through the car's navigation history, he discovers the wealthy man's mansion in the suburbs. To get revenge, Jack decides to break into his house to steal. Surprisingly, there's no alarm system around the house. He takes out his homemade master key, easily opens the door. After a careful search, he finds a VIP card on the table. He immediately tells his friend, this type of card is only available to the world's top 50 wealthiest people. The assets inside would be enough for Jack to spend for several lifetimes. Satisfied, Jack prepares to leave, but a room ahead catches his attention. Only this room has an anti-theft lock. It must contain valuable items. He immediately pulls out his key and starts trying. Lady Luck smiles on him again. Jack quickly opens the door. This seems to be the wealthy man's office area. His personal computer is stored inside. Before Jack can speak, his friend tells him to search for passwords on the computer, because once they know the passwords, they can transfer the wealthy man's assets. Just then, Jack notices a check on the desk. He immediately takes out his phone to photograph it, planning to send it to his friend. A face appearing suddenly in the shadows startles him. Jack eventually calms down. The wealthy man has imprisoned a woman in his house. From the wounds on her body, it's clear the wealthy man has been abusive. This room isn't an office at all. Jack immediately removes the device from her mouth. His only thought is to save her. Desperately, the woman's chains are too complicated. Despite Jack's efforts, he makes no progress. After thinking for a moment, he decides to call the police to rescue her, but his friend immediately stops him, because Jack is currently a burglar. If he calls the police, he'll be finished too. While they're arguing, the woman tells him bad news. The room has high-definition cameras. The wealthy man can check the room from his phone anywhere. Jack turns pale with fear. Meanwhile, the wealthy man has just left a restaurant. He habitually checks his phone, about to look at the room. Fortunately, Jack reacts quickly, successfully leaving the room before the wealthy man sees. He realizes that alone, he can't save her. Jack quickly finds his friend, tells him everything he saw. After a long discussion, Jack still decides to call the police. To ensure his own safety, he uses a public phone to call the police, avoiding revealing his identity as a thief. To witness the wealthy man's arrest firsthand, Jack deliberately drives near the mansion. As the police question the wealthy man, a woman suddenly walks out of the room, stating that only the couple lives in the house, and knows nothing about what the police are saying. Seeing her natural expression, the police believe she isn't lying. After a brief chat, they leave the mansion.